There's in the hands, there's the crucifixion, there's a wound in the wrist. There's also right here, this is a large blood flow from the wound in the side. And there is blood flow from wounds in the feet. The one thing that scientists can tell you is what it's not. They can't tell you what that image is, still to this day. The image on the right is the Sudarium of Orvieto. That is Orvieto, Spain. I would love to see that one time. This is a face cloth, and it's kind of funny. This dates back, history dates back into the 700s, this cloth. But this cloth is purported to be the face cloth that covered Christ's face right after the crucifixion. And it was removed as soon as he was put in the burial shroud. These are blood stains here, as you can see. It's a very bloody cloth. But one thing that's really neat, if you take this and you have these both at the same size, and you superimpose them over, if you have this at just about an angle, the blood stains here match up with the blood stains on that face, which is kind of interesting. Both the Shroud of Turin and the Sudarium have the same blood type AB, universal donor. Doesn't prove beyond a reasonable doubt, but it's still hard evidence that you can use. It's something physical that we can touch. Although, what did Christ say? Bless those who believe and have not seen. Right? Am I right on that one? Yeah. Yep. Okay. So we consider that as well. So, remember, as Christians, we do not believe in an idea. We believe in the man, in a man, Jesus Christ. There's no indication that he was lying. He's got integrity. He's got all that documentation to back up what he did. What he did do is he has so much integrity that he was not afraid to say something to somebody that they may not like. And that's what really infuriated, of course, Caiaphas and his group. He's not a lunatic. There was no erratic behavior. If there was erratic behavior, do you think the disciples would follow him? And these disciples continued his work to death. Peter himself, or Simon Peter, the first pope, was crucified upside down. Reason why that you had St. Peter's cross, which is upside down cross. And it really bothers me that, when people make horror movies, the first thing they do is they turn crosses upside down. To me, that's St. Peter's cross. That's not something evil to me. But Peter said, when they were nailing him to the cross, I don't deserve to die like my Lord. Talk about Bartholomew. I'll tell you about that in a second. Really quick. This is a reliquary. And this is in Florence? San Lorenzo in Florence. And you walk into a room and there's these cases and they're full of these relics. This one over here was a relic of St. Bartholomew right here. And I think about St. Bartholomew. St. Bartholomew was skinned. I can't think of that's just a horrible way to die. Whoever thought that, that's sadistic. That's awful. But he did that, and he did that for God, for Jesus. Well, when we were in St. Lorenzo, something really interesting happened. I was looking at these, I think they're beautiful. This one was made last quarter of the 15th century, so 1470, 1475, something like that. But then I looked at the tag, and I had to look at it twice. I think I read it 3 times before I realized what I was looking at. At first it's in Italian, but then it's Reliquary of the True Cross and the Crown of Thorns. And I said, whoa, time out. I didn't know why. And that's why I went and started studying about the history of these relics. And it talks about St. Helena, Constantine's mother, the first Christian Roman emperor. Constantine's mother finding the true cross, I believe, in 326. And there's some documentation on that. So, I look at things. I like documentation. I like to touch things. you know. But there are some things that you feel here, you know, when we're singing, when we're together, we don't know each other, we come up and shake hands. I know God is in here, Christ is in here with us. I mean, we have him right here. And, you know, it's not a, you know, the crucifixion, you know, looking at it right here, this is a plus sign. There's nothing negative about it. It was a horrible way to die, but he rose again. Hopefully looking at the at the shroud and at the sudarium that we still have that exist, that can help show that he rose again. If he's not God, and if he's a lunatic, we really should have nothing to do with him. I wouldn't want to follow somebody crazy. Okay? But if he is God, which I believe, and I'm sure you believe, but if people are searching, you're searching. That's okay. But we should seriously consider this. Consider him. Okay? There was a famous saying. Somebody said, I would rather live as if there was a God and then find out there wasn't when I die than if I lived if there wasn't a God and then when I died I find out there was. Kind of an interesting saying. So, is he a liar? I don't think so. Lunatic? Is he Lord? I'm leaning that way. So, but the choice is yours. Again, this is your choice. But at the end, you know, when the inevitable happens to us, and you know, it's funny. When I was younger, I hated talking about the inevitable. This year, I lost my mother. It hit close. You know, God bless my wife. She was there when my mother died. You know, held her hand right to the end. I was able to do that for my grandmother, which was fortunate. But, you know, I'm thinking, you know, as I sat there with Mom after I got there, I'm thinking, wow, she's standing in front and having a discussion one-on-one with God. And all I hope, and I hope for all of you, that when that time comes, as we stand there one-on-one, I know there's couples for Christ who like to do a lot of one-on-one. When we do that ultimate one-on-one, and we have fought the good fight, as St. Paul says, and we listen to the words of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, as we stand in front of them and they say to us, well done, my faithful servant. Enter your master's house. Thank you so much for allowing us to come here and be with you, talk with you. I want to go ahead and really quick give you guys, these are some recommended watching and reading that I have. The History Channel put out what they call the real face of Jesus, with a question mark. And that's the one that talks about the shroud, talks about hard evidence, and it's just kind of just right there for you. And what they do is there's a guy who is a computer graphics expert, and he actually he scans it and does some things with it to where he's able to reproduce the face that was under the shroud. It's pretty interesting. This is a book, I'm currently reading it for the second time. It's called Relics from the Crucifixion, Where They Went and How They Got There by J. Charles Walls, originally written in 1910. Very well written. It's a short book, but it was republished in 2015, so you can get it kind of anywhere. And then Relics, you can actually get that as a digital book too. What They Are and Why They Matter by Joan Carroll Cruz. Pretty good book, covers a lot of things. And of course, the recommended movie I have for you is my new Easter movie. The movie Risen. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that yet. Outstanding movie. I watch it. I don't know how many times I've watched it now. And every time I watch it, in some part of the movie, I don't know which one it'll be for me that day, but I'll cry. And you know what? For kind of a bigger than average fella, many days going to cry at a movie. But I guess I'm among friends. So anyway, thank you all very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Brother Dave. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Great presentation. How'd you guys like that? Can you believe that? We're getting history. It's things we don't really know much about when regularly attending church. Here we get to learn a lot. And just like last week, we learned God's love. And the other one is living with God, how to, right? And God's life. So basically what last week. Oh. So anyway, okay, sorry. Yeah, because I wasn't here. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, we're learning a lot of stuff, so that's fantastic. This is what we're all about, and it's just get to know a lot more. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna split up in groups, like what we did last week. So.